Joining us on the Village of Bedford Park business line, reminding you to bring your business home, is Craig Bolanos, co-founder and wealth advisor, VestGen Wealth Partners in Inverness and Downers Grove. Find him online at getretiredstayretired.com. Craig, thank you for joining us today on the Noon Business Hour. And Craig, I think I'm safe to say this now. I think the terms of the NDA, the non-disclosure agreement, have expired, but I did not go to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding over the weekend. I wasn't invited, Craig, but if I was, I'd probably say no because I couldn't swing it financially, and there's a valuable lesson there.
I think there's a very valuable lesson there. In a world of social media, in a world where events are full of glitz and glamour, it's tough to say no thank you. But as we talk about wedding season, I think the biggest mistake for everybody is budgeting for each wedding. You got to start budgeting for the entirety of the wedding season. That's a very unique difference. And I want people to begin by looking at those invites into what do I have to attend, meaning it's my inner circle, my most intimate friends, versus what are optional weddings and optional events, the acquaintances.
And then if you set a budget for the entire wedding season, what are some factors you need to take under consideration?
Well, I think the first thing is it's never the wedding itself that gets people in trouble. Travel. It's travel that becomes the biggest budget killer. It's not the wedding and it's not the gift. So I think you got to look carefully and do everything you can, which is common sense, to book the room early. Don't miss the room block. And if the room blocks are hotels that are too pricey, then go down the street. No one's going to remember where you stayed. They're going to remember how you acted and behaved at the party and the wedding itself.
And then in some cases, I think we've all been invited to bachelor or bachelorette parties that are in some other location. Yeah, we're going to Las Vegas, we're going to New Orleans, we're going to New York. And when is it okay to say no to an invitation like that, even though you know it's going to be a lot of fun?
I think you're not going to miss your siblings' bachelor or bachelorette party, but even when it comes down to friends, I know this is tough. It's even tougher with friends. It's hard with strangers, but I encourage everyone to make themselves vulnerable. And vulnerable is to express that you might not be able to afford to go, or you might not be able to go for as many days. And I think everyone's just got to come clean, because the bachelor and bachelorette party should be optional. Your retirement savings and your credit card, that's not an option. That's discipline.
And then just like the last segment about loaning money to a friend, what are some ways in which you can let that person down diplomatically?
I think you know what? The first is this. Do not hesitate. When you break those events down, the wedding, the pre-events, the post-events, I want everyone to decline early. Send a polite no immediately if that event violates your budget. Don't delay, don't hesitate, don't wait. And as soon as you make that decline, I would follow that up with an email, a text, or whatever communication method you're most comfortable with to let them know why you're not going to attend. That's what I would want, and I think it's a common courtesy.
And then lastly, is this a growing budgetary problem, the increasing cost of the wedding industrial complex? Because I'm sure a lot of people are listening right now saying, well, we had the wedding and then we went to a nearby hotel and had the reception, and that was it. And there were very few bells and whistles attached.
No, I said it before. The reason we're talking about this on the business hour is it has become an event over the last handful of years. The social pressures, the media pressures, the attendance, looking good. And, I always remind everybody too, fellas, no one's going to remember if you wore the same suit. And ladies, they care about whether you go or not. They're not worried about re-wearing a dress. Rent the dress, rent the runway, do those different thematics. But yes, Rob, if we're talking about it on the platform of radio, it shows how it's getting a little bit out of hand. And I just want everybody to be armed with the tools that they need to be successful. So Budget the entire wedding season. Don't be afraid to say no thank you. If you need to decline early. Be incredibly assertive, especially when it comes to travel and lodging, and look at reducing your attire and gift expenses, and you too can survive the wedding seasons that's 2026 and what's to come in 2027.
Craig Bolanos, co-founder and wealth advisor, VestGen Wealth Partners, Inverness and Downers Grove. Thank you for